guys, how y'all doing? Cosmic Carry here, rolling out with my Object 430 Tier 10 Russian medium on Westfield. I believe this is a Tier 10 heavy game. No like fantastic amazing matchmaking in this game, just a typical Tier 10 Tier 9 match. One significant factor in this battle was the fact that I had a pretty much a very lackluster team, shall we say. You can see how they're spreading out at the moment. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is heading up to the hill where I can brawl and all that jazz. Keep in mind this tank doesn't have fantastic gun depression, so there is that to consider. But the only other tank that's kind of joining me up here is a TD behind me. There's another TD behind that one, and there are two heavies just right at the ridge line there behind myself. I think it's a T10 and an Object 257, two Tier 9 Soviet heavies. And I understand the situation straight away here, and I'm not afraid to run away. Call it what you want, a tactical retreat, but I understand the weakness of my tank when I'm up against a whole bunch of other enemy tanks, and I'm not afraid to pull back, retreat and put myself in a kind of like a defensive position. I did abandon my TD up there. You know, he's still up there, he's gonna die. I think he kind of signals to me, yeah, thanks buddy. But there's nothing I can do, you know. I just would have died alongside him. This is kind of where I stopped there for a second, and I asked myself, why do I get these teams, you know? Why do I get, you see the two heavies there in that up ahead of me, and it's not a fantastic position. I mean, perhaps they were grinding, they had stock guns, I don't know. I remember grinding the Object 257. I was not a happy bunny in that tank, but I mean, it is what it is. You got to deal with the cards that have been dealt to you, etc, etc. So I've placed my tank in a defensive position, anticipating that the Reds are going to roll over the hills up in the north and just come down here and just, you know, bulldoze their way onto our base, etc, etc. So this is my only option: getting into a hull down position, get some easy damage, you know. Only expose my tank somewhat. This tank is an amazing gun. It really is a fantastic gun. It reloads every 5 seconds. I prefer this tank over the Object 430U. I know that tank puts out 440 damage, and it's got much better armor, but to me, having a 5-second reload versus a 10-second reload, you know, you know, it is what it is. That's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Waffle doing what the Waffle does, which is, you know, it shoots one shell, and therefore it has to shoot all, what is it, 6 of its shells. Yeah, it has to, you know, and it has to die, you know. And the Super Conk is gonna be the first tank that's gonna pen me. I'm not sure where he must have penned me in my drive wheel. Perhaps my drive wheel was exposed, I'm not sure. I'm fully anticipating these tanks to, you know, to just come down here and bulldoze their way, obliterate, you know, the TD to my left and all of that jazz. But they're cautious, they're careful, they understand that it's a long way from up there in the north down to here. And you can see even down on our base, what there's a heavy, perhaps he's AFK, TD all the way in the back. I mean, a lot of really badly placed tanks, if they if they're not AFK, you know, really strategically crappily placed tanks, absolutely bloody god awful. The only thing that I fear here is, like I said, them coming at me. Object 705 is trying to, and Arty, you know, there's 2 pieces of Arty on per team, so that's the only things that I fear. Object 705 doing the worst thing possible, which is just driving it. I mean, he could have used the town as cover or something, anything. I do manage to get a shot into his drive wheel there, you know, and he I'm just waiting for them to go for it, and as soon as they do, I'm gonna pull back. You know, I'm gonna pull back. Still got a majority of my hit points intact, so that's kind of like my primary focus, is retaining those hit points as much as possible. The game is completely still up in the air. It's 6 versus 6. Our team is not being aggressive at all, so it's kind of like, oh, there we go, there's Artie. It's a game of cat and mouse, or chess, whatever you want to call it. Who's going to make the first move, who's going to be daring, and all of that jazz. And here comes a Yak Tiger, I believe it is, and yeah, he pays for being way too aggressive and gets taken out by our Conqueror, which is what, he's across the way, on the other side of the valley. I presume that's him anyway. So right now, you know, Artie has reduced me down to what is it, 390 hit points. So I'm a one shot to a lot of these guys. So I'm fully aware of this. I'm going to play extra cautious, absolutely 100%, and I'm going to be using my proximity radar. I'm going to try and get in as close as possible to these two heavies without actually attempting not to alert them to my presence, because right now they don't know exactly where I am, and they're kind of preoccupied with my compadres, you know, I'm guessing the Conqueror and the 2 tier 9 heavies, etc, etc. 705 has been whittled down, and there's a side of the Super Conch. You can see I've kind of flipped my tank. I've gone in to reverse mode. That way I can get out of trouble real quick. You know, I can use my speed to my advantage and just get out of dodge if anybody aims their gun at myself. These two tanks here, the Super Conch 705A, kind of desperate times, desperate measures, just trying to pull something out of the bag, but they're really exposed. They're not exposed to Artie, but to our tanks, you know, across the way. Mr. Super Conch, I think the terrain kind of fluffs up. Yeah, fluffs up my shot there. But look at that reload, no problemo. I've always got another shot in the chamber, ready and waiting, and ready to take the kill and all of that jazz. And I'm jumping beneath the rocks here because I'm thinking Artie, 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 Artie. So not bad. We played defensively. We it was kind of like 1 versus what is it, 1 versus 30. I was playing with a very seriously passive team there, absolutely. And as I push forward here, I'm not going to push without these two heavies on a considerable. You can see me kind of looking at their hit points. They've got so many hit points, and I'm like, okay, you guys are my shield, you're my battering ram. You guys are driving in front of me. You know, I did my part for King and Country, and yeah, now it's your turn. Absolutely. All that's left is FE4202, 2 pieces of Artie. Well, one gets taken out there, and a light. I don't think we see the light tank anymore. I'm not sure. So telling this T10, slow down, stop, I'll spot for you, and you can, you know, take shots, etc, etc. Just let me get up here to the bridge and I'll spot for you. That was my plan anyway. But lo and behold, the FE4202 shows up and he goes into Allah Akbar mode, and he's gonna do, yeah, because he understands what the score is and decides, F it, you know, I'm gonna go out in a blaze of glory. Good for him. I mean, kind of what I would have done. But anyhow, really decent, really cracking game there, and picking up quite a bit of damage. What, almost 5k combined, very decent. And second game, we're on El Haluf. Very typical tier 10 matchmaking. Tier 10s, 9s. I think there was a couple of 8s. We're going to be up against not a lackluster enemy team, but they really didn't send anybody up here to the northwest, not that many tanks at all, so we kind of take full advantage of that. I do big time, absolutely. Always nice to get some free damage here into the J Panther 2. I think there's a turtle to my left. I get a nice shot into him as well. I have to say, this tank is... I was playing the hell out of this tank when I was grinding for the machine, and I would say more so than the Object 140. I'm very late to the game in discovering this tank, and it is a beast of a machine, especially because of that reload. Very decent armor. The gun, I have no complaints about the gun when it comes to the accuracy. We've switched to close combat, close quarters. The compass map. We switched to the compass map because we're going to be in close quarters with the enemy reds. And I do stumble upon this object. AMX 50-120. My armor reliably bounces off him. I wasn't expecting him to pen me. You know, the way he's looking down upon me. I think he was shooting mostly into my turret. I don't eat any damage from him. I get the kill on him. I'm already up to 1300. I've only encountered one tank so far, so GG's all the way so far. Absolutely 100%. This FV215B, I was just attempting, honestly, to just track him, get some assisted damage on him. I do and I don't. This kind of he does pen me here. I wasn't really expecting to pen him. I just wanted Ari to do their job and maybe somebody else, you know, to pen him in the side and all of that jazz. I do get some assisted damage from him, as you can see. But now we're gonna play our little game of cat and mouse against the enemy reds. As you can see, there's the M103. And I fully take advantage of him facing, having tunnel vision or whatever you want to call it. I don't know exactly. I thread the needle there, and I managed to pen either his side or his what you call it, his whatever you want to call it. I can't remember. But either ways, I get the kill. He's dead and we are good to go. I get very lucky here, if I remember correctly, on this E4. I almost completely miss him, but somehow I manage again to thread the needle and just manage to pen him in the rear. I was fully expecting that to bounce, but it didn't. And now, what is the E4 doing? But I do spot the Super Conk. The Super Conk, the enemy Super Conk, has just hightailed it out of there and has decided to go for our Super Conk. You know, moving himself into a one-on-one confrontation with him, and I decided to take full advantage of that. And you know, because you can only point your gun towards one tank at a time, and I'm gonna get some free damage off him. Absolutely, perhaps even get the kill. But where is the gun pointed? On the T110E4, and he managed to get the shot into my rear. That could have been much worse, I have to tell you. But anyhow, we're still in the game. We're still on 545 hit points. The battle's still up in the air, as you can see. 8-10. Well, actually, we're kind of sort of losing. Fully expecting the E4 to drop down here and go, I don't know, attempt to flank the tortoise. This was my thinking. Hence why I was reversing. I was hoping to catch him in the rear, and I didn't want my proximity radar to alert him to my presence. He basically hasn't moved. That was just basically a shot out of anger. I know he doesn't have the gun depression to shoot into me. He could move forward, but that kind of would expose him absolutely 100%. Now I've lost my sixth sense what to do with the E4, and possibly maybe I can flank him from the rear. I need to do something because, you know, the game is seesawing to and fro, left to right. We're winning, they're winning, etc., etc. So, and whatever the game is going to be decided in the next minute or two. And as I come around the corner, is he facing me? Is he not facing me? He is not facing me, so I can get some nice shots into his rear. But there's two tanks up yonder there beyond me, so I need to deal with this guy real quick. I'm not sure, did he reverse into this dead tank, you know, in order for it to provide some cover, whatever, you know. He's deciding to has to face one of us. He faces the tortoise, and now all that's left on the enemy team is a super conch. Hence I jump behind the cover of two dead tanks, but that doesn't protect me from artillery. But our waffle, our T9 waffle, takes out the super conch. Thank you, absolutely. And now the victory drive in order to take out the artillery. I think that this was well deserved, this game, that I get to take out artillery. Absolutely 100%. Nobody else can take out artillery because we don't have any arty. So soon, hopefully, I'm going to find him up. You know, where Artie's supposed to be, which is up on this hill. But a very decent game. Nice plays there, I think so. Let me know what you think. Absolutely, I managed to micromanage my hit points pretty decently there, and I did put my tank at risk quite a few times, and I was expecting to eat some shots, and I was fine with that, and I kind of micromanaged that. At the same time, I take out artillery, absolutely picking up 4 shots. What is this? 5-6k, whatever combined damage. But another decent game in the Object 430. Hope you guys enjoyed. I've got lots more games in this tank, I'm afraid. Well, the machine grind took forever. What can I say? Take it easy, guys. Adios, muchachos.